Possibility, where we help people make more meaningful relationships in both their personal and professional life. Hi, I'm Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I want to welcome you to the Engaged Employee Podcast. Our mission is to emphasize the relationship between the employee and the workplace with the goal of enhancing engagement levels to create a more productive and satisfying work environment. While many organizations strive to create a more engaging atmosphere, they often miss the mark by forcing connection with big team building events like axe throwing or escape rooms. Those activities only leave employees with a short-lived sense of belonging. Organizations may also try smaller and more suffocating events like happy hours or group birthday celebrations that their employees feel obligated to attend. As a social connections and business culture coach, I've found that to create a stable, engaged, and productive workforce, there needs to be a shift in focus from mandatory fun and manufactured connection towards building trust and authentic conversation. Join me and a guest as we dive into social wellness strategies for the individual employee, techniques for developing interpersonal relationships with coworkers, and even some approaches for leaders to enrich the overall organizational culture. The Engaged Employee Podcast starts now. Hello, my name is Coach Lee. Today, my guest is Anika Allen. Anika Allen is a friendship consultant and founder of 5-Star Friendships. 5-Star Friendships provides step-by-step guidance on how to make new friends or upgrade your current relationships. Friendships is linked to long-term happiness and increased work productivity, which is why she offers guided journals and live online workshops that show the value of social connections. Anika grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and since elementary school, she's created or joined clubs that has helped kids socialize. Later, Anika attended Florida A&M University, where she earned a bachelor's degree and MBA while hosting a series of popular student forums. So she's definitely a people person. Since then, Anika has accomplished professional success in sales and marketing with Fortune 500 companies. But her true passion is to improve lives one friend at a time. Our conversation today will be focused on wellness for the company culture at large. Anika, welcome to the Engaged Employee Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So happy to have you. What an interesting experience that you have working in the corporate place and being friendly, like
Yes.
really being connection with others, because we find that it's really difficult to do the same. I remember, or many people might have the same feeling. Essentially, our friends aren't our coworkers; they're work friends, or I'll be friendly at work, but I won't be friends. But you're on a mission to help people feel more connected. And those are my words, but certainly those are what you're doing, helping other people find those meaningful connections with others. Can you tell us about, some of your experiences and why this is so important to you?
Thank you. Well, the first thing is when people hear that I'm a friendship consultant, they go, "That sounds so exciting. What the hell is that?" So I have to explain to them that a friendship consultant, like the word consultant, I'm really just helping people, guiding people, giving them advice and tools in the area of friendship. When I learned that the number one thing for determining your happiness long term, and that's validated by Harvard, they have the longest running study over 70 years on happiness, is not where you live or what you drive or your title or your salary. It is social connection, how valuable the quality of your relationships. And so as a friendship coach, I deal with people in personal settings, but there's so much research out there around the benefits of socializing at work. And that's benefits for employers, encouraging their people to socialize, and for employees who need to maybe make a little more effort to, not stay so guarded with their coworkers.
Oh yeah, I do recall our conversation initially because I'm a coach and you consider yourself a friendship consultant. And
Mhm.
I think there's a huge difference between the two. You have all the facts and figures and information to share. That was one thing that really impressed me about you because I understand that these are the things that companies really, really look for. Show me the numbers, show me the information. And so as a friendship consultant, would you say versus a coach, that would be like one of the biggest differences?
I would say definitely. I mean, there are people who are life coaches and they do study their craft like anybody else. Some people go deeper than others. But for me as a consultant, think about it. If you have an organization and they're going to hire a consultant, they're going to want to know that this is not just your opinion, that you are basing it on some data that is outside of just your own purview, looking at hundreds, thousands of people and looking over several years. So for a lot of employers, one of the studies that struck me, Sean Anker, I love him. He gets to study positivity for a living. He's the founder of Good Think. And he did a study with a large insurance company in the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest, St. Louis, Missouri. Shout out to any other Midwest people out there. He convinced them to let him come in and show them the benefits of social connection. And so they went into one of the insurance company's call centers. I have worked in a call center. It is very monotonous. I used to set them up. Anybody who knows having to call or people calling you up to complain, it is not known for having the highest level of work satisfaction. And they took the department with the lowest level of performance. And Sean Anker and his team went in and said, we want you to give them and encourage them 10 minutes a day to connect with a coworker. That's it. And the company agreed. And it's 10 minutes, you take a break and you share something good, bad, or ugly with a coworker. And what they noticed was over the year, a 50% increase in their performance and productivity because people want to be seen, not just at home, not just when you're out, having fun. You want to be seen, you want to be valued at work. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I want to be seen, valued all the time. So certainly at work,
Exactly.
I think it makes sense. A lot of people, it's counterintuitive or how we've been taught rather, but I think we should actually want to connect with those people that we spend a lot more time with because we're spending 8 hours a day with these
Hmm.
people and we're not spending perhaps that much time with our families getting to
Hmm.
know them either. So why not be harmonious with some of the people? Just 10 minutes a day, sharing a little bit of information about who I am and perhaps how I show up outside of work. Bring a little bit
Right.
of myself to work. And I know there's a push to be your authentic self, your whole self, bring your whole self to work. When I was in corporate, that was one of the big things that they had expressed at my job. And I thought, well, I don't know how to do that. I have no idea. So I'm curious about the 10 minutes and some people will quickly adopt that 10 minutes to share what's on their mind and other people will be like, I'm not telling you anything. I'm
Right.
telling you
Well,
everything. So how do we handle that? How do you handle that?
yeah, great question. Because what happens is for some, people like me who you said in my bio, thank you very much. I seem like I came out of the womb in the nursery at the hospital ward trying to arrange play dates. So everybody's not extroverted like I am. So what they learned was that, some people, it took a while for them to warm up, but once they got used to it, it's something they look forward to in the day, especially imagine a call center. You're there on the phone, on the phone, on the phone. Your breaks are monitored when you go to the bathroom. And then you get this time to just relax. And so it sounds pretty intuitive, right? Like that makes sense. You got to give people a chance to kind of relax and unwind, and their productivity would increase. But companies don't always believe that. And so that's why Sean and his team had to look at the data to say, no, if you want your numbers to go up, you need to be giving people time to do that. They show that water cooler conversation. We don't typically have water coolers anymore, but when people are, passing in the hallways or the parking lots and they are chit chatting about, did you see this show last night? Or, how did your daughter's birthday party go? Those little moments of connection are valuable. It makes people feel more relaxed at work. And when they are more relaxed, they tend to share more. And when you are sharing with coworkers, especially, let's say you're in marketing and you are having water cooler conversation with someone from finance, you might be sharing ideas that spark creativity in terms of them bringing another perspective. So encouraging coworkers to talk to one another has other benefits outside of just, their numbers going up. When you are in a culture that encourages you to talk to people, not too much where your, performance is going down, but when it's encouraging you to do that, what happens is you get more comfortable with your coworkers and you get more comfortable asking for help. So when you get in a bind, when you're stuck, when you can't get this number to come out right or this presentation, you don't feel so isolated. Like, I don't want anybody to think I don't know what I'm doing, right? If you've had conversations and you've mingled and you feel okay approaching somebody, you're more likely to ask for help. And that, again, benefits the employer. So one of the things I do is I look at it from the employer's side. And there's lots of studies. Indeed has done some. Oxford University has done some around happiness of employers, increasing productivity. But I also want to make sure we have time to talk about it from the employee's perspective. Like you said, we're going to break down some of those myths around keeping your personal life hidden from your coworkers.
Absolutely, because that was something that I absolutely wanted to jump in on. I felt that, of course, afraid to talk to my coworkers because I was hiding something, and I'm a transgendered man, so that's one of the things that I thought that it was important for me to hide, but then it wasn't really a big deal. The thing that when I shared that, the thing that really kept us was just my lifestyle and things that I was doing outside of work that I thought that they couldn't relate to at all, because I imagine they had completely different life experiences. They come from different walks of life. Here I am, a single man living in Chicago by myself, and their families living in the suburbs. And they have, I was just, how do we even connect? How do I bridge that gap? And so I really didn't want to share anything. So there might be people out there who are having that same experience. Like,
Mhm.
I have a bunch of coworkers and we just work together and that's what we do. They would never understand my life. What would you say to those people?
Well, the first thing I would say is whether you're dealing with, like you're talking about, a transgender issue, whether you're caring for an ailing parent or you're just looking to adopt a dog, the more you share, you will be amazed at how many people can relate. I mean, you've heard that maybe old cliche, it's not just you, you are not alone. There are billions of people, billions on this planet. You are not the only person suffering with depression, suffering with, anxiety, or, having to code switch, which is something people of color have to do a lot, or minorities, right? As a woman and as an African American woman, I know working in corporate America, sometimes you feel the need to code switch, like code switch meaning I can't let them know my real authentic self, right? I have to put on my work mask. And to a certain extent, your personal life is not exactly the same as the way you would behave in a professional environment, but it's okay to let people know a little bit about you. When people connect with one another, it is almost always because you've been vulnerable. So if you want to have more connections, you're going to have to, sort of take a risk and be more vulnerable, starting with a little bit of information at a time, right? I wouldn't on the first day show up and give all my business, but be open to and be intentional about slowly but surely letting people in. Because what happens is you go to work and you put on this mask, right? It's suffocating. You don't like what you're doing. You're really not interacting with people. You're giving a fake smile, right? And then you go home to your family and that stress gets released to them. So you're not doing your partner, your girlfriend, your kids, whomever you live with, a service by bringing all that stress home. The more you're able to relax at work, then, because you said 8, sometimes people 10 or 12 hours a day, they're with their coworkers. You don't want to bring the worst of you home, right? When you do come across that threshold, all you're talking about is how you don't like this person, or you had to keep this bottle up, or he is so fake. You
Yep.
don't want to do that. It triggers into your personal life as well. So it's to your benefit and the people around you, to be like, can we just not complain about work again? Can you find something happy, something joyful there? And the studies show that people who have friends at work, they're more loyal,
Mhm.
right? They don't jump ship as much, and they are better performers. I know personally, I've seen it. I was at Target, had to return something. I'm just standing in line. There's a girl, she looked like she's all of 12 years old, right? These young little teenagers. And she doesn't have the best attitude. She just is wearing on her whole face like she doesn't want to be there. It's like, yes, can I help you? Whatever. Okay. And then within about a minute, another Target coworker passed by her and just kind of tapped her. You could tell they were friends. And her whole demeanor just lit up. It was like, oh,
Oh,
hey, my friends are at work now. And
nice.
her whole personality was so different. There's about a third of the people who have their BFF or discovered their besties at work
Mhm.
in this country. So it does make a difference. And when you have somebody at work who you look forward to talking to or sharing things with, it makes you exhibit better customer service to the other people who, who you're there to
Absolutely. If you're
take care
feeling
of.
good, you wanna spread that around, you know?
That's right.
If it
That's
feels
right.
great to be around these people that you're with for 8 full hours, it's gonna be a fantastic day for all of your customers too, because you can't help but to spread that joy. That's how I
Absolutely.
see it. You can't help but to spread that joy. So, I really wanna thank you for coming on and sharing your insight with us. There were a lot of little things that we could possibly do, and I wonder if you could round it out to one thing that you would to improve my relationship with my coworkers. What would it be that I could do?
The main thing I would say is to keep an open mind with a positive attitude. We typically assume that people are not going to understand us. I'm in a book club with women who look different than me, backgrounds, and we have learned so much just sharing human experiences. We didn't have to come from the same family or the same part of the country, and there are still things that when they're talking, it's like, oh, you too. So
Mhm.
keep an open mind and keep a positive attitude, and then think about what would you tell a child when they're going to school. You don't say just go to school and learn, don't talk to anybody. You're not there to interact, you're not there to have fun. That would be crazy. How would
Right.
the school experience be good? They're there for 8 hours a day. We are at work for that amount of time. Give yourself that same advice. You're not just there to do your job and leave. You are there to make it a well-rounded, holistic experience.
Wonderful. Wow, I wanna thank you so much again for that beautiful insight. I heard that you have something called a VIP list, and I wonder if you could share a little bit about what that is.
I do. Thank you. Those who want to follow me, you can go to Facebook. I have a page there. It's Five Star Friendships. I'm also on TikTok at Five Star Friendships. That's FIVE. And I post every day all kinds of research. I share my own experiences, the good, the bad, and the crazy. And the best way to keep track of what's coming up is to go to my website, which is fivestarfriendships.org. And there, if you get on my VIP list, you will not miss any of the things that I am launching. One, I have a workbook. It's a guided journal for those of you who are a little shy, reaching out to coworkers, going to those happy hours. The workbook walks you through step by step how to increase your social activity. And then I do live 2-hour workshops online. That the next one is coming up in March. So if you're on my VIP list at fivestarfriendships.org, you will be notified, you'll be offered a discount, and we can work together to take your friendships to the next level.
Yes, I love it. I love everything that you said. Take these friendships to the next level, and all of the information will definitely be in the show notes. Anika, I want to again thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming to share your insight with us.
Of
And if you
course.
liked what you heard, please don't be shy about following her, especially on TikTok. That's where I found her, and I really enjoy her content. Thank you again.
All right.
Oh man, now I have to edit. And there you have it, another insightful episode of the Engaged Employee Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the deep dive into the world of employee engagement, leadership, and workplace dynamics. The Engaged Employee Podcast is brought to you by the Patterns of Possibility, where we help people make more meaningful relationships in both their personal and professional life. Before we wrap up, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our incredible guests and, of course, our loyal listeners. Your support keeps us motivated to bring you valuable content each week. If you found today's discussion thought-provoking and want to learn more about how we can help you or your organization make more meaningful relationships, go to patternsofpossibility.com and book a friendly conversation with me. Or you can email me your questions at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. Stay connected with us and engage with fellow listeners by following the Patterns of Possibility on LinkedIn. You can also catch us on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to stay in the loop. And if you prefer the audio version, make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Your support means the world to us, and by subscribing, you'll never miss an episode. Thank you for being a part of our journey to create workplaces where passion meets productivity. Until next time, I'm Coach Lee. Stay engaged, stay inspired.